name is Atinuke from Bodija International College. The title of my story that I wrote is Destiny. And I hope my story can connect with you the way I wrote it, and there's a meaning behind it which I'll be explaining at the end. Our story begins in the distant town of Ekene North. There lived a beautiful girl named Amina. Amina did her morning routine and she was out the door. The public transport that she takes to work every day had arrived. Amina got in and sat down by the window side observing the scenery. Unknown to her, a stranger was staring at her from afar. She caught his eye and he approached her to ask her of her name. Amina refused to give him a name because she doesn't like to get involved with strangers. The fashion company logo she had on her bag seemed to catch his attention. He told her that that's where he was heading for a job interview. She was surprised. She said, "What a strange coincidence." This began their conversation. In their conversation, he discovered that she dreams of becoming a successful fashion designer one day. They continued to chat in the bus. Jide gets nervous upon the arrival to the company. She assures him that he has nothing to worry about and that he'll be alright. He thanks her for her kindness and he walks in. That night, Amina couldn't sleep. She wondered how she let something so simple slip her mind. Now, she had no way of contacting Jide because his name was Jide. I forgot to point that, I'm sorry. The stranger told her that his name was Jide. So she had no way of contacting Jide because she hadn't collected his number. Her only hope now was that he had gotten the job and she would see him again. The next day, Amina scanned the bus, but he was nowhere to be found. She almost gave up hope, but upon arriving the company, she saw Jide running towards her. He ran towards her out of breath. He thanked her for her kindness the other day. He asked her for her name, and she finally told him that her name was Amina. "What a lovely name," he said. He asked her out, and 30 minutes went by. Jide sat down at the restaurant waiting for Amina. He began to worry. Maybe he had overstepped by asking her to meet him at this location, someone she barely knew. But all his thoughts were silent when she walked in, looking as dashing as ever. She wore a beautiful black dress with her hair styled in an amazing manner. And so they began to court each other, Jide and Amina. With time, people began to recognize them in the company. Jide was very good at what he did, so this gained him recognition internationally. Amina was also doing well. She was a very hardworking girl. On one beautiful Saturday morning, Jide informed Amina that he has gotten a job offer at Oxel, one of the biggest fashion companies in the world. Amina is happy for him, of course, but she's worried because he's going to be leaving her. He promises her that he's going to come back for her one day once he has established himself. She accepts and allows him to go. Days turn into weeks turn into months. Jide is nowhere to be seen. She begins to doubt that he's ever actually going to come back. Her birthday arrives. Amina is sitting in a room all alone. She's upset. Nobody had remembered to wish her happy birthday, not even her so-called Jide, the love of her life, except her friend Esther. Esther has been there for her through thick and thin. So Esther encourages her that they should go out. Esther takes her out reluctantly. She takes her to different places to try and cheer her up and celebrate her birthday. Amina just decides to follow her friend. She's not really happy, it's obvious, but she's trying to be nice. So upon their arrival home, Amina asks Esther to follow her inside. Esther declines. She says she's tired from going from places to places and says she'll see her the next day. Amina opens the door and is surprised and greeted by a loud cry of happy birthday from different people around her, both friends and family. And in the center of the room stood Jide, looking as dashing as ever. She ran to him. She hugged him. She told him how much she missed him and how much she loved him. And he to her. He told her that he was going to be going back, but this time with his wife. He went on one knee. He proposed to her. She accepted. Within a few months, they were married and they relocated to South Africa. They were doing well. Jide had finally opened his own company. Amina was getting better. She has finally continued pursuing her dreams of becoming a fashion designer and creating her own lines. Her designs were unique and everybody loved them. But then everything went south. Jide's health began to deteriorate. He became sick, very sick. She suggested several times that they go to see the doctor, but he declined. She wondered why. Why won't you go and see the doctor, she asked. He told her that he was afraid of what the doctor might tell him. So eventually, she was able to convince him. They went to see the doctor. "I'm sorry, Mr. Jide Thomas Olusegun. You have been diagnosed with stage 2 cancer." Amina couldn't believe her ears. Cancer? How? When? Why? Amina was devastated. Jide tried to be strong for her because the thought of never seeing Amina again seemed to terrify him so much. Eventually, his condition got worse. his health began to deteriorate even more. He had lost all his hair at this point and was bedridden. Amina couldn't sleep, she couldn't eat, she couldn't think. She was always by his side to make sure he had everything he needed. Then one cold, dark morning, with a whisper, he called out to Amina, Amina, Amina. She woke up. What do you need, my love? Is anything wrong? He thanked her for her kindness and her hospitality towards him. He told her how much he loved her. And with that, Jide drew his last breath. Amina was devastated. She cried out in agony. She couldn't think. Her Jide was gone. A brief burial ceremony was held for him. A lot of his family and friends were there to give their words of condolences to her. None of them meant anything to her. After they all left, Amina said a brief monologue about Jide, how much she loved him, how she's happy that she met him on the bus, how she's happy that he has been part of her life. Amina continued her life. She lived a very content and simple life. She finally opened many boutiques around the world, and she owned a fashion school. She was internally grateful, and she would never forget the man that held her heart, Thomas Olusegun Jide. Jide Thomas Olusegun. So there are two things I want my audience to take away from this story. Number one, we must all remember that death is an inevitable thing. It's going to happen to all of us, so we should try our best to try and keep our loved ones dear to us. And we should also remember that in this life, just like seasons change, people change. Some people in this life are only meant to be with you for a particular season. Some people are only here in this life to guide you to your destiny.